Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar. I noticed there's a lot of people on, so I wanted to open it up real quick before we start. I'm going to wait a few more minutes and let the others all pile in. But I wanted to acknowledge you guys since there's so many of you on right now. Of course, this is Josh Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of Plumbing and HVAC SEO, and we've got a really exciting presentation today with Brian Kaskavalskian of G4 Marketing on how you can get more repeat and referral business. So just hang in with us for a few more minutes and we will get started shortly. So this is a live webinar and we have all of the built-in functionality from GoToWebinar. So if you've got a question you want us to address prior to getting started, or if you could, just to make sure we're all synced up correct, in the chat box or in the question box, just type in what part of the country you're joining us from. See, we've got Woody. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you. Tammy's here from Olympia Heights. Kurt's here from Minneapolis. Nice. Craig, how you doing, man? From Ramona, California. We've got John from New York. Jason, how are you, man? Glad to have you on the call from New York. Rachel from Vancouver. Norton Rodriguez right here in Miami, Florida, right in my backyard. Woody again from Arkansas.
Maui.
Maui, nice.
Maui, look at that.
Lori, Darcy, Dave Cass, how are you from Tampa? Glad to have you on. Let's see. Shay
People from everywhere.
Yeah, we've got a broad set of attendees. So thank you guys for kind of chiming in there in the comments box to let us know that you're there and you're live and you can hear us. So that's exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's presentation is one that I'm really passionate about. You know, here at Plumber SEO, we're hyper focused on internet marketing and really helping you drive more calls, more leads, and more profitability through effective internet marketing. You know, making sure you're showing up on Google and Yahoo and Bing, that your website's ready and set to convert. And that's really what we're focused on, really that whole internet marketing piece of the equation. And as we've worked with literally hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies throughout the United States and internationally, and consulted with thousands, we've realized that there's a huge opportunity in that space after the sale. So there's always so much attention around how do we get the customer, how do we get them on board, how do we get the leads, but there's very little attention to follow through and follow up and taking that one-time customer, turning them into a repeat customer. And I'm lucky enough to be in a mastermind with Brian Kaskavalskian, who runs G4 Marketing. He's a private member with Dan Kennedy. He's really world class. He's published great content and information on really how to get more repeat and referral business using direct mail, using email marketing, using all kinds of referral systems. And so without further ado, I'm really pleased to introduce Brian to share this great information with you guys today.
Thank you, Josh. It's exciting to be here and to present to your group. I love plumbers. I love working in the plumbing and HVAC world because it's really so much about the customer and about customer relationships and how to maximize the value of that customer relationship. So as you know, Josh, we have a ton of material to cover today. So I'm going to be moving pretty fast. Through here because I want to make sure that we get to everything and I show you exactly what to do here, real world practical strategies to help you grow your business. So the question is, why the focus on repeat and referral? Why the focus on building relationship with your customers? And that's really very simple. It's because a past customer coming back to your business is the #1 most profitable, easiest to sell lead, phone call, customer that your business gets. And the more we can get them to come back, obviously the more money we can make, and obviously the less money it costs us to market our services. The second most profitable person that's coming in is somebody that was referred by a friend, a neighbor, somebody that's done one of your customers. They refer a friend, a neighbor, a family member, because they're already they've already been pre-sold, if you will, because they trust their friend and their neighbor, their family member, to give them good advice. So one of the things, and I do a lot of work with a lot of different companies, primarily in the home improvement space, and this is a statement that I know to be absolutely true. If you are not actively, aggressively, consistently, and strategically pursuing repeat and referral business, you are leaving a ton of money on the table. Now, there's a worst part to this. So the worst part to this is you are leaving your customers out to fend for themselves, basically. I call it susceptible to the seductions of the marketplace. And make no mistake, your competitors are trying to get your customers, just like you are trying to get your competitors' customers. And the more you leave them alone, and the more you leave them to their own devices, the more likely it is they will not come back, or they will go to somebody else for the same services that you provide. Now, more referrals and more repeat sales in your business leads to a whole lot of really good stuff. I mean, there's really no negatives. It's all positives. Number one, we lower our advertising costs. So the more of our business that comes from our customers, people that we can rely on to, month after month, year after year, come back to our business and buy from us, the more stable our business is, the more profitable our business is, and the less need there is to always be out there spending money on advertising. Increased sales conversion. So the more that we are dealing with people that know us, like us, and trust us, the more likely they are to say yes. Yes to a service call, yes to a project, yes to a job, yes to an upsell. If you do this right, your customers are out there marketing and selling for you by talking with their friends, by talking with their neighbors, by recommending you to others. More profit per customer. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Is we get more profit per customer that comes in. And ultimately, and we're not going to get into this today because it's a much bigger conversation, but ultimately what you're also doing is you're building wealth. You're building a real asset that has long-term, sustainable equity value. So for those of you that are thinking about an exit strategy, for those of you that are thinking, oh, one day we're going to sell our company, well, one of the things that a buyer is looking for is how sure can I be that the revenue that you did this month or this year is going to also happen when I take over. And when you can show them that, hey, this big chunk of my business comes from existing relationships, your business automatically becomes worth more. Again, much bigger topic than we're going to be talking about today, but it's definitely a benefit. Ultimately, in the short term and in the long term, this is about increasing the profits of your business, making your business more successful, making you, the owner, more money. That's what this is ultimately about. Now, I told you earlier, I love the plumbing and HVAC space. There are huge advantages. Number one, people always need plumbing services. Always. That's why you got to, and this is why, Josh and I are such great partners in this, is that nobody does a better job of getting plumbers leads than Plumber SEO. They've got that part down. You need to have a very good presence to bring people into your business. You always need to have new customers coming in, always. Don't ever get anything that I say wrong about bringing in new customers. You always got to bring them in. It's just what you do with them when you bring them in, and how you make them more valuable to your business, and how you get more profit from each and every one. Now, people always need plumbing services. People always need a good plumber that they can rely on. They want a friend in the business, right? Most of you are already diversified in the services that you offer. So it's not like you only fix toilets. No, you'll fix their sink. You'll supply them with a new sink. You'll supply them with a faucet. You'll change their water heater. You'll change their bathtub. Many of you do bathroom remodeling. So you have not only one thing to sell, you have many things to sell. And so you always constantly have to be letting your customers know everything that you do. And so they're only coming back to you for those services. Cross-sell opportunities with the existing products and services. And a lot of you are already sales and marketing companies, right? You're not just one guy out there with a truck that's out there fixing toilets. You actually run multiple trucks. You're doing advertising, and so that is a big benefit for you. Now, the big problem is, so here's the problem that I run into in my work with companies, and all kinds. This is not unique to the home improvement space, but most companies have a leaky bucket. A leaky bucket meaning there's new customers going in at the top, and we're spending a bunch of money to get them, and we're spending all this time and effort and energy to get the customer, to make an appointment with that customer, to roll a truck out to that customer, to do the service, to do a good job with that customer, to make sure we get paid, and then we put them into our database or into a file cabinet, and boom, that's it. There's nothing else. So the bucket is leaky, because you don't have a way of keeping that customer yours and keeping that customer coming back and keeping that customer referring you, right? And a lot of business owners, and this is something I used to deal with, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story in a minute, but this is something I used to deal with all the time, is I would point out, I used to run a franchise company that I created, and I had franchisees all over the country. And I would say to them, look, your bucket's leaky. Here's how we fix it. And they would, inevitably, they'd come back to me and say, well, no, my customers know who we are. They know how to get a hold of us. They know what we do. We don't need to do that stuff. And I would just bang my head against the wall, because that's not true. No matter how good you are, your grandmother will forget you if you don't do a good job of staying in touch with her. So, and that's probably not true, but you get the point, right? So the question is, are you getting all the referrals and repeat sales you could be getting or should be getting? And if you said yes, my response to that would be, are you sure? Because there aren't very many people I know that say, yes, we're getting all that we want and we're perfectly happy with all that we want. Now, the good news for you guys is I think that you recognize there is an opportunity there. There is an opportunity for you to grow your business more, make your business more profitable, make your business more successful by learning the strategies that we are going to teach you here today. So here's what we're going to cover. And again, I'm talking fast because as you can see, we have a lot to cover. So by the end of this session, about an hour, you will know exactly what it takes to get more of your business from existing and past customers. I'm going to tell you the number one reason you don't get as many referrals and repeat business as you could be getting. We're going to fix one thing in your business that will set you so far apart from your competition, it's going to put you worlds ahead. I'm going to introduce you to my 5-step action plan for multiplying customers, and we're even going to show you a way that you can get all of this done for you without spending any money, without spending a ton of money, a whole lot of money, without hiring more employees, and without doing a lot of the work yourself. So, a little bit about me. As Josh says, I've been in the home improvement business for over 20 years. I started off as a commission salesperson selling kitchens and bathrooms, and I did that to kind of work my way through school. And then I got into a couple of businesses that are kind of similar to yours. So first I had a carpet cleaning business And then I got into the bathroom refinishing business. And between those two businesses, in about 3 years, we had 11 trucks out on the road. We had technicians. We would dispatch them out, similar to the way that you guys all do it. And then after the bathroom refinishing business, I started what was supposed to be kind of a side business. I was the business development marketing guy. So at that point, I really honed in on becoming the marketing guy. I knew how to get the phone to ring. I knew how to make leads. I knew how to convert those leads into sales. And so a handyman came to me and said, hey, I've got this idea for creating a business of providing people with handyman services. And so I went into it with the thought, well, this will be a nice side business. I'll work for a couple of months, get things set up, and he'll run the business. Well, within just a few months, we had almost a couple dozen handymen working for us at the beginning. This is within the first 2 or 3 months. By the end of that first year, we had over 100 employees. We were doing about, about 100 jobs a week. We'd get 50 phone calls on a Monday morning, and we were a very busy company, very much like what you guys do. We ended up franchising that business. We had 30 offices around the country. We had 1 in Canada, and we had 3 of our own at the height of that business. I sold the franchise company, and I went into did some consulting work. I wrote a book, and in 2009, I kind of came up with this relationship marketing idea, and we don't have enough time for me to tell you the whole story, but basically we created a system and a platform to help companies, primarily home improvement companies, with relationship marketing, kind of doing it all for them. And so we've got the good fortune of working with hundreds of companies around the country, providing relationship marketing services to them. The important thing here that I like to tell people, and the reason why I think my background is important for you, is because I come from your background as well. I come from the home improvement business. I'm not a guy that owns a marketing company that just decided, oh, hey, I like the home improvement space. I'm a guy that actually has experience in the home improvement business. I've had companies in the home improvement business. I've spent my own money on marketing, and so I've got a very good sense of what works and what doesn't. Now, everything I'm going to present to you will all be based on my own personal experience and the experience I have working with my clients. There's no theory. There's no textbook. This is all fact. Everything that I'm going to present to you works, and it works in the real world. Everything's practical, and there's no magic to it. All right? And I think it's important that you know that. So one of the things that I like to help companies with is not to waste their advertising dollars. And a lot of times what happens is people in business spend a whole bunch of money to get a customer, and then they do a really bad job of converting that customer into a relationship that keeps sending them money over and over and over and over again. And so, one of the things that you've got to be really aware of when you are advertising is when you bring in that customer, how important it is for that customer to turn into more customers and more jobs. So I made the same mistake. So this is a picture that I dug up of our handyman business towards the end. So we had about 20 handymen, and we had trucks out on the road. And I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not, but over here you see me kind of shadowed out. That's me on the end. And then right next to me is my wife, Addie, who is my business partner now. Well, when Addie stepped into the handyman business to help run the business, the area that she focused in on was relationship marketing. So at the time, we didn't get a lot of our business from repeat and referral. It was less, I'm embarrassed to say, I knew better, but it was like less than 20% of our business, and it really should have been higher. And so she came in and she did a bunch of things that I'm going to show you all the stuff, by the way, in a few minutes that she did. But she came in, she grasped that, and she tripled our results. In the end, when we actually sold the company to one of two of our handymen. This is one of them here. We sold that business to the handyman. But at the end, more than half of our business came from relationships, from repeat and referrals, because Addie just did such a fantastic job with it. But what she did wasn't magic. There were basic things that we had to put into place that I was too lazy to do, right? So she wasn't too lazy to do them. I was really good at placing ads in newspapers. I knew what it took to make the phone ring. I knew what it took to bring new customers in. But Addie really knew the value of a customer. She knew, hey, if we're going to spend all this money to buy that customer, let's make sure that we get all of the value out of that customer that we can. And so one of the things that I do with clients, and this is a copy of my book. This is right out of my book. Is I ask people, before we get into any marketing strategies, before we get into talking about anything about growing the business, one of the first things I want to know is, what is the LTV of your customer, your average customer? LTV stands for lifetime profit value. So if today I bring in a customer, now we're not going to go through this, but this is an exercise that I recommend all of you do. Because if you don't know this number, you're at a handicap. And I'll tell you why, one of the big reasons why, in just a minute. But the way that you figure out your lifetime profit value is very simple. One is, what is your average transaction? So when you bring in a customer, what is that average transaction amount, right? So to make the math easy, let's say it's $100, okay? Then how many times would that customer purchase from you in a given year? So let's say in the plumbing business, let's say it should be 3 times a year, right? So now you add that in as well. So now we add 100, and now we say average time the client purchases 3. How many years will that client stay with you? How many years will that customer stay with you? Is it 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? For some people, I know that Josh and I work with clients that have been in business for 20 years, and they still have clients coming to them from back that long. So what's the number? 3 years, 5 years? You put that number in. Then you figure out what you take A times B, and you figure out what is a customer worth per year, and then what is that customer worth over their lifetime. Now, the one thing that this does not take into account is, what is that customer worth when multiplied? What is that customer worth when they bring referrals back with them? So I didn't want to make this very complicated. I actually made this a very simple, basic calculator. But when I work with clients, I also want to factor that in. So what percentage of my customers can I count on to send me referrals? That now changes how much that customer is worth. Now, the point of this is, when you know how much a customer is worth, you know how much you're willing to spend to buy that customer, right? So, again, if we look at what the internet marketing space, where Josh and Dean do an amazing job for their clients, generating leads and customers. So if you're working with them and they're generating customers for you, and those customers are coming in the door, let's say they're costing $50 to bring in a customer, right? So now we know, for every $50 I spend, I'm going to get a customer that's potentially worth $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $50,000, whatever that number is, right? Now you've got a better gauge of what's working, what's not working, what's a good investment, what's not a good investment. The other thing, too, is, and this is getting a little bit more tricky and a little more complicated, but you guys all know this. The person that's willing to spend the most money to buy a customer is the one that wins, right? So by knowing exactly what your customer is worth, that's the first step. But then it's also, how do we keep increasing that number? How do we maximize the profit that we get from each and every customer, right? So how do we do that? Well, we do that, and I'm going to show you step by step how we do it, but we get them to come back and buy more from us, buy more services, buy more products, and bring their friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, whoever, with them, right? Now, one of the things that I talk to people a lot about is the thinking behind getting a customer. So you've really got to be thinking about making the sale to get the customer, not getting a customer to make the sale. I'll say that again. You must be thinking of making the sale to get the customer, not getting a customer to make a sale. The first way will build your business profitably and make you wealthy. The second way is a churn and burn. You've always got to be bringing in new customers, right? Whereas the first way is every customer that comes in, you have figured out a way of making ever-increasing amounts of money with that customer. Okay? The difference here is thinking about a customer as a transaction versus thinking about a customer as a relationship. And I will tell you this from my own personal experience and my work with hundreds of companies, if you don't commit to creating long-term, mutually profitable relationships, that's very important. You can't be one-sided. Your customer has to also profit from working with you, right? And how do they profit? They profit by you solving their problems. They profit by them having somebody they trust, right? What it would give to have a plumber that I trust, that I don't have to worry about, that I can just call up and say, hey, I got this problem, and they come over and boom, they take care of it right away, right? If you don't have this in place, then you are cheating yourself out of all of the profits you could potentially be earning. So what I stress so much with my clients and I work so hard on with everything I do is it's about creating relationship. That's why we call it relationship marketing. That's what we're going to be talking about, is relationship marketing. So how do we do it? Hey, Josh, by the way, do we have any questions yet before I get into this?
I don't see any questions, but it's a good point, guys. If you have questions, there's a questions box. Feel free to put your questions there, and we will work to answer those as we go. So go ahead, Brian.
All right, cool. Good stuff? Good stuff so far? Is everybody still with us, Josh?
Absolutely, yeah. It seems
okay,
like.
Good. All right. So let's talk about my 5-step action plan. Actually, your 5-step action plan. Now, a few years ago, I built out a blueprint. On this blueprint, I laid out the 5 steps that every company needs. Now, I tailored it to home improvement companies. I tailored it to home improvement companies, but these are the 5 steps that you need in order to really create a strong business that is based on customers for life and more repeat and referral business. So step 1 is your commitment. And when I say your, I mean you. You, the owner of the business, because it all starts with you. You are the leader. You have to commit to creating customers for life. See, the thing is, and we touched on this earlier, is most business owners don't understand the business that they're really in. See, the business that you're really in is you're in the customer business. To me, it's about creating customers, keeping customers, and multiplying customers. Now, look, you happen to sell plumbing services. You happen to sell air conditioning services. I happen to sell marketing services. Josh is internet marketing services. The guy across the street is a restaurant. The guy upstairs there's a dental practice. But all the smart ones of us are all in the same business. We're in the customer business, right? So we commit to creating a relationship with that customer that's the start. Now, I ask this question, but it's actually a really good illustration. Are you a hunter or a farmer? So what is a hunter? What is a farmer? So the hunter is all about the kill. The hunter, and this is in your marketing, if you will, and how you kind of view your business. It's about the kill. You're not concerned about tomorrow. You're only concerned with what you're going to eat today. The problem with this is it's an expensive and tough way to make money. Now, you got to have a little bit of hunter in you. But if you're purely a hunter, it's a hard way to make business. Because look, I'm a really good hunter. I've always been very, very good at being able to generate leads, right, and create customers. But you also have to have a farmer in you. A farmer is not only building for today, but they're also building for tomorrow, for next month, for next year, for 5 years from now. They use leverage to grow. They use their customers. They use their customers to promote for them. And the way that they do this is through relationship. They build relationship with their customers. So, you know, some of these companies will be very familiar to you. A lot of these companies are absolutely committed to creating customers for life. So here are some of the tips for you. One is no more love them and leave them. You have to commit to that. No more transaction type business. Your business must be completely designed around your client, their experience, and their relationship with you. And most importantly, this has to become a part of your company culture, and this is entirely led by you, the owner, the leader. Step 2 is earning the right to referrals, and this is really all about the customer experience. What is the experience that the customer is getting? So one of the things that I do is I lead workshops for home improvement businesses where we actually go in and we design the customer experience from beginning to end. So one of the good things about the home improvement business is that there are a lot of touches. It's not like somebody walks into a store, buys something, and leaves in 10 minutes. It's like they got to call your business. They got to talk to somebody on the phone. Then that somebody has to go to dispatch, send somebody else out to the business. That person then is in the house for 15 minutes, for an hour, for 2 hours, for 5 hours, right? So there's a lot of interaction. So that's potentially good, but it's also potentially bad, because if you provide a bad experience, then that's just more ways for you to mess up. But if you provide a great experience, that's just more ways for your customer to say, wow, what a great experience I had. Wow, I really like these guys. Wow, I really trust these guys, right? And then they spread the word. So, great book. It's out of print now, but it's called Up the Loyalty Ladder. And I'll give you the whole book in a quick nutshell. So basically, this is, it's how do you create a valuable customer? And what you want to do is you want to create a raving fan. A raving fan will go out and will promote a business for you, right? But everybody starts down here, and you'll notice this is a triangle because it gets fewer and fewer, right? There's lots of suspects out there. Some of those will turn into a prospect. Some of them will turn into a shopper. A shopper is somebody that actually calls into the business. A customer is somebody that gives you money once. A client is somebody that gives you money more than once. An advocate is somebody that actually will bring others with them. But a raving fan, not only will they give you more money, but they will bring more people with them, and they'll tell anybody and everybody they can about who you are and what you do. They will be out there promoting you. They will be your best salesperson and your best marketing source. So the question is, how do you create raving fans? Well, you do that through your customer experience. Now, the best advice that I could give you here in the limited time that we have is play customer. Call into your business as if you are a customer and go through the whole experience. And then step by step at every interaction point, design the ultimate experience that you want your customer to have. Think about it in terms of, wow, wow. So the best example here is Disneyland, right, or Walt Disney World. Whenever you walk into Disneyland, it is a controlled environment, right? It is all designed around giving the customer the most amazing experience possible. They are the best relationship marketers on the planet, right? And it's all about the experience, okay? So pay attention to the details and create wows for your customers. Step 3, demonstrate your appreciation. So this is another one that's so important. Everybody wants to be that special customer, including you. But when was the last time a place that you did business with actually made you feel special, actually made you feel appreciated, actually sent you out a thank you note or a thank you gift or made a phone call and said, hey, thank you, we really appreciate your business? Not that many. I don't know about you, but I don't get very many of those. Maybe one a year. So if you're that one company, how cool is it if you're that one company that actually sends thank you cards to your customers, right? And some of you might already do it. My question to you would be, do you do it consistently? Do you do it every single time? Do you do it without fail, right? But send out a thank you card, right? Make your customer feel appreciated. Demonstrate to them your sincere appreciation and gratitude for their business. Step 4, get feedback. So you want to know what your customers are thinking about you and what they're going to say to people before they go out and they say it. So I think Josh and Dean have a great system built into to their websites that they build, where people can actually go and leave reviews for your business. We know how important reviews are to prospects, but they're also important for you. They're also important for you to know. And if you don't have a third-party survey system in place, you really need to get one. You really need to find a way of getting that customer feedback so that you know exactly where you stand. If you're doing a great job, great. If you're doing a poor job or somebody on your team's not doing a good job, you better know about it, because that is going to prevent you from making money. And the last piece, and this is probably one of the most critical, if there was one place where people mess up the most, this is it. And that is in keeping touch. How do you keep in touch with your customers? Are you doing it on a regular, consistent basis? What are you sending out? Now, the reason why you want to stay in touch is very simple. Because your customers, if you don't stay in touch with them, they will forget about you. Now, it could be 5 minutes after you leave. It could be 5 hours after you leave, 5 days or 5 months. Regardless of what that is, they left to their own devices, they will forget about you. And the next time they need service, if you aren't top of mind, if you haven't done something, if you haven't to remind them, if you haven't done something to stay in their consciousness, you are potentially losing out on all of the business that customer can bring you. So keep in touch. Now, what happens when you don't keep in touch? So this is actually a video. I won't play it for you. I kind of blocked out the faces to protect the guilty. But these guys came up to me at an event, and these guys happen to be in the roofing and window and siding business. But they might as well be in any business, right? So these guys came up to me and said, hey, you know, they weren't clients, they weren't working with me, but they knew what I did. And so they came up to me and told me the story about how they started to call some of their old customers, basically looking for work is what they were doing. And they talked to this woman that they had done a roof for a couple years earlier. And when the guy on the right was the sales manager, the guy on the left was the owner. And the sales manager was the one making the calls, and he hears pounding in the background like a hammer. And he asks the lady, oh, what's going on? I hear all this noise. And she says, I'm getting my windows and siding done. And the guy's like, everything dropped. I mean, even when I saw them 2 weeks later, they were still reeling from this in pain. The guy says to her, but we do windows and siding. What did she say back to him? Oh, if I only knew, I would have called you guys. So they went all this time. They did this. The client remembered them. The customer remembered who they were, but she just didn't know everything that they did. And she didn't remember them when she needed it. So had she been communicated with, and had she been communicated with the right way, she might have remembered them and they might have had a shot at getting that $40,000 in work. That's what the guy told me that job was worth. $40,000. Gone. Poof. So here is an undeniable fact. If you don't pay attention to your customers, you can rest assured your competitors will. Because they're out there every day trying to get customers just like you are. And if you don't put a fence around your customers, if you don't guard them, then they can go to your competitors. And you'll lose them. And you'll lose everything that they're worth after that, from that point forward. So it's dangerous. So what do? What works? People ask me this all the time. Well, what works? And I say everything works. You know, postcards work, letters work, notes, phone calls, regular email communication. It all works. The best thing is a print newsletter. That's what works the best. You know, it's a nice form of communication. Here's my advice to you here. When you do communications out to your customers, don't make it all about give me money, give me money, give me money. That's what most people do when they send out communications to their customers. What you want to do is you want to build relationship. That's why the newsletter is so good. It builds relationship with people. You know, it's not only asking them for money, it's also providing them with fun content, right? So you might include a recipe, you might include a funny story, you might just include a note from you. Hey, this is what's going on in my life right now, right? Here is just kind of a quick little cheat sheet of what a good follow-up looks like. I'll run through this really, really quick. Send out a good thank you note. Send out a survey. Begin sending out some emails. This is what you do on day one. Enter your people into an email newsletter list. Email newsletters are good, not by themselves, but as a complement to everything else that you're doing. And if you haven't done it already, do some sort of working in the neighborhood campaign. Day 3, follow up with a happy call, what we call a happy call. Day 30, send out a letter or postcard asking for referrals. Begin your monthly personal email communications. Hey, I'm just checking in. Want to make sure everything is okay. If you need anything else, call me. Day 90, 180, 365, at least every quarter. Send out a note. Send out a newsletter. Something of interest. Not only give us more money, offer maybe something of value to them. And then monthly, you want to make sure, and this is really important, is you want to acknowledge every person that makes a referral, even if it's just with a phone call or with a little card. What we recommend our clients do is actually send them money or send them a gift if you have that ability. I have a client who gets over 60% of his business from repeat and referral, it's over $2 million a year in referrals and repeat. And he has a whole thing where he sends people gifts for their referrals. I mean, it's a lot of work, but the results speak for themselves. So that's kind of like a cheat sheet there for you. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to be there when your customer has what we call these moments of truth. The moments of truth are they need another service from you. Like we said, with plumbers and with HVAC, man, you guys sell so many different products and services. They need you all the time, right? So you've got to stay in front of them when that need comes up or that want comes up, and they have to know everything that you do. You can't assume that they'll remember everything that you do. And then the other thing too is in a situation like this where you've got your customer here that you did work for a few months ago, and today she's happened to sit around having tea with her 3 best friends, and one of her friends brings up, hey, I'm looking for a plumber. I need a plumber. In this situation, man, if you aren't top of mind, if they don't know who you are and how to get a hold of you and the things that you can do, if they don't feel like they have a personal relationship with you, then you just lost a really good opportunity to get a customer who doesn't have a heavy lead cost and who's probably going to say yes a whole lot faster than somebody that just comes in cold off the street, right? So you have to be aware of those moments of truth. Now, the key to success here is implementation. Hey, Josh, this might be a good spot. Do we have any questions that we need to answer?
I don't see any just yet. So, guys, if you have questions, please post
Okay.
them in the questions box. Let's see. There's one here. Roland's asking where you can find the recording. We'll be sending a recording out after the call for those of you that want it, because he's on lunch. So, any other questions? Feel free to post them here. Otherwise, Brian, this is awesome stuff. So just keep it flowing.
Awesome, cool. So the key to success in anything in business is implementation, is actually getting the stuff done. So in this case, you have three options. So everything that I've shown you step by step kind of how you do it. I've even shown you kind of a cheat sheet here, and I'll show you a little bit more even. But you have to make a decision at this point. I mean, step one, or your first option here is do nothing, right? And if you're doing nothing, then just know that, hey, you're leaving money on the table, and you got to be okay with it. The second option for you is to build a system like this yourself. So you could build this out. Make sure you've got all of the parts and pieces that you need. You should have a good email strategy. You should also have a good offline direct mail strategy. You should have some sort of referral program, and you should have a way of executing this consistently, meaning there should be somebody that's in charge of it to execute it for you consistently. And again, you could go watch this, and I've kind of shown you what you can do and what you should do to set this up, and I'm going to show you a little bit more here in a minute. And the third option here is let us do it for you. Now, I'm going to show you kind of what we do here for our clients at G4, and it really works beautifully with what Plumber SEO does, because they are, again, I mean, they're so good at bringing in the phone calls, bringing in the opportunities, bringing in the leads, and then it's like Josh said at the beginning, is how do we help you take that and maximize the value of every single customer that comes in? So, look, I'm going to show you what we do for our clients. If you want to work with us, great. We'll give you an opportunity to do that. If you don't want to work with us, take what I'm doing, learn from it, and execute it yourself. The idea here is we want to give you everything that you need in order to really build out your relationship marketing. If you happen to want to work with us, great. We'll be happy to work with you. But everything I'm going to show you, you can, if you choose to, you can do it yourself. Now, here's the blueprint. And so real quickly, step one is your commitment to creating customers for life. The second step is earning the right to referrals and repeat business. That's about the experience. Step three is demonstrating appreciation, making your customer feel special, saying thank you, showing gratitude. Step four is survey, and step five is keeping in touch. Now, we have a program called the 1 into 5 program, and it's really built for home improvement companies. So I'll tell you who we do a lot of work for. We do a lot of work with roofers. So roofers, unlike you, they're the exact opposite. They only sell one thing, and that one thing, once you buy it, there's no need to buy any more of it, for the most part. So with them, it's really all about the relationship and getting referrals. And then we work with plumbers. Now, plumbers are awesome because it's really so much about repeat business. How do we get people to keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back? We work with window companies, we work with siding companies, we work with one-day bathroom companies. Those are really the companies that we work with. So these businesses are really just like yours. That's me and Addie there. That's actually our very first client. His name's Charlie Gandell. We were just with him the other day. He's in Southern California. But here's what the program does for you. It automatically, everything is automatic, shows your appreciation to your customer. It automatically keeps in touch with your customer for years. We do this through automated direct mail, automated email marketing, and an automated referral program. And all it takes is just a few minutes a week. So with our clients here, basically all they do is once a week they send us a spreadsheet with the name, the address, and the email address of everybody whose project they finished that week. So all the service calls, if you did a bathroom or if you did a water heater or whatever you did, you just put that name, address, email address on a spreadsheet, send it to us, and that's it. You're done. We do everything else, everything that I'm going to show you. Sounds pretty cool, right? So the first thing that we do is we send out a thank you on your behalf. Now, here's a few tips for you, for those of you that are do-it-yourselfers. I'm going to give you some tips here as we go along, and I'm going to show you why these things are so powerful, why they work so well, right? So look at the envelope, right? So just take a look at the envelope. What do you notice? You'll notice that the return address and the address of the person looks like it's handwritten. It's actually not. It'll be our little secret. It's a font that looks like handwriting. But if you got this in the mail, you couldn't tell the difference, right? It looks like somebody sat and wrote out a card. Now, here's the other thing. You see this thing over here? That's called a stamp. It's a live first-class stamp, not an indicia, not a window envelope, a stamp. Why do we do it this way? Well, because when you're sending out direct mail, the number one obstacle you have to overcome first is getting them to open the damn thing, right? So when you send somebody something, you want to make it look like it's coming from grandma. They're going to open it. Who wouldn't open this envelope, right? So that's the barrier that we're trying to get across when we do this. So that's a little bit behind the scenes for you. But if you are doing any kind of direct mail and you're using an indicia or you're using a label or you're using a print that, that looks like it came out of a machine, your direct mail is not nearly as effective as it can be. Now, this costs more money. It costs more money to do it this way, but you know what? It's worth it because your results more than pay for the added expense, more than pay for it, right? So then they open up the envelope, and inside is this beautiful card. We're grateful to have you as a customer. This is one of our plumbing clients. This is actually one of Josh's clients, too. And so this is the outside of the card. When they open it up on the inside, on the left side, there's a friends and family gift card, a $25 gift card. Now, this is an actual card that is stuck into the envelope. And there's a really nice letter here from Greg, who's the owner of Schuler Service. And we handwrite their name up here. So if it's John and Mary, so it says, Dear John and Mary. And so it looks like Greg sat there and actually wrote out the card. Now, the $25 card here is a bounce back, basically. What we want them to do is right away, we want them to come back to the business. That's why we do the friends and family gift card. And if they don't have a need for it, we tell them right here is, hey, here's a token of our appreciation and of our commitment. And if you don't have a need for this, give this to one of your friends that could use our services, right? So we're kind of covering both angles here. So a lot of your business hopefully comes from customers that are coming back. I know a lot of Greg's business comes from past customers. So if somebody comes in again, we created a thank you again card. So the first time they get the thank you card, but the second time they get a thank you again card. And then we still do we put the gift card in there and we do a nice thank you again message from Greg. All right? So that's thank you. And this is all in the mail, by the way. This is not email. This is mail. Very important. The next thing that we do is we send out a big, oversized postcard. Now, a couple things about the big, oversized postcard that we send out. Remember earlier I was talking about a newsletter, right? So newsletters are very, very effective. And so what we did with this was we kind of did a hybrid between a newsletter and an offer. And so you'll notice here that we have a really nice message from Greg, and we put his picture on everything. By the way, if you are not using your picture on stuff to connect with your clients, start using it. It will make a difference. People buy from people. They don't buy from companies. They buy from people. Very important. Human-to-human contact. That's what we're looking for. And then we've got up here, we've got some fun facts. We've got a recipe, and we've got a little article here, bad odor in your kitchen, check your garbage disposal. Nice, informative stuff. Now, on the other side, and by the way, this thing is huge. It's 6 inches by 11 inches. It's giant. It really stands out in the thing. It's super cool. So we do, up at the top, we do this month only. And you'll notice we've got a bunch of different services here. And what we do is we say, hey, what are your highest value items? Right? In this case, it's bathroom remodeling. And a couple of the other plumbing clients that we work with also do plumbing or bathroom remodeling. So we put that, big front and center, because that's really what, we want to push people to the highest priced stuff, of course. And so we put all of our offers there. And then here, down below, on everything that we do, we include the referral rewards program. So we have a formal referral program that we created at G4. It's called the Referral Rewards Program. And our clients use that program. And I'll show you here in just a second what that looks like. And then we do a follow-up card. We do this 2 times a year in the mail. It makes sense, by the way, for us to do this more, because each card does pay for itself. But we did another version of this, and it says thanks again. So this is time. So the first one goes out about 2 months after the first job has been done, and then this one goes out 6 months to 9 months later. We drop another one. Different recipe, different article, different fun fact, but still we got the offers again and the referral rewards program. Now, let me show you kind of what our referral program looks like, and if you want to create a referral program, I highly recommend you have a very formal program in place and you let everybody know about it. So with our clients, we give them a bunch of tools to be able to promote their referral program. We've got a website. We run a contest. We give them banners that they can put on their website. We do follow-up emails. I'll show you the email marketing here in just a minute. When they get a referral, they get an email from us. They get alerted that there's an email. We also offer training, and we offer tools. I mean, this alone makes this whole thing worth it, right? Just having this formal referral program in place. Now, that's that part of it. Now let's start talking about email marketing. So one of the things that we also do is automated email marketing for our clients. Remember, all that they've done is given us a list of names, addresses, and email addresses. If they send us the list on Monday, boom, that's when the clock starts. So we send them out the first email that says, thank you and welcome. Welcome to the family. Thank you for choosing us. You'll notice this is kind of what the email looks like. You'll notice it doesn't have fancy graphics and logos and all that stuff, because what we want is we want to make it look like the owner sat at his desk and typed out an email to his friend and said, hey, thank you for the business, right? That's what we want to make it look like. And so we do a series of these emails where it's just we drip, every once in a while an email shows up from the owner that says, hey, I'm just checking in, want to make sure everything with your plumbing is as it should be, and if we can help you with anything, just let us know. If we could be of assistance. Did you know that we also do these other things? So you always want to when you're communicating with people, you always want to let them know, hey, these are the other things that we do, so that they don't forget, right? You want to be their source. You want to be their friend in the business. The other thing that we do is every month, like clockwork, the second Thursday of every month, we send out our Happy Home Gazette email newsletter. So every month this goes out, and it's completely customized for our clients, depending on who they are. It's got their information, their website, their logo, their phone number. But it just goes out automatically, and it talks about the referral program. It makes an offer, but it also has a recipe. It's got fun facts, got all of the stuff in a newsletter that they want. Now, what we don't do is we don't load it up with plumbing articles. So if you are going to do communications to your customers, and it's going to include any kind of content, what you don't want to do is make the whole thing about plumbing or about air conditioning. That will bore them. They will throw it away. They will opt out of your list. You want to hide all of that stuff around other stuff that they'll be kind of interested in. So what we do is we put in a quote, we put in fun facts, we put in a recipe. You could even, if you wanted to, so I'll give you a little cheat here if you wanted to do this yourself. So you create an email template, have a designer create it for you, hire a copywriter, and have them create a template for you. And just put in an opening message from you every month, just a little message saying, hey, let them know what's going on. And then you could put in an article about plumbing, but something useful, something about, how to unstick your garbage disposal or how to clean your garbage disposal or something useful, how to unclog a drain. And then put a recipe next to it, put your contact information, put some information about referrals. We appreciate referrals. And that's it. There's a very simple, basic structure that you could put together and you can send out. But the key is you want to do it consistently. So do it, if you're going to do an email newsletter, do it every month. And try and do it around the same time every month, right? Now, in our case, with our clients, all of this stuff is done behind the scenes. It's all working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of what the owner of the business is doing. In fact, in most cases, we don't even work directly with the owner. The owner just helps get us set up, and then we work with somebody in the office to get all the information that we need and to run all the programs. So that's how that works. Now, look how cool this is. Right? So look how cool this is. So I just wanted to give you a demonstration of how powerful this can be if you do it if you start to do this stuff. And again, look, do it on your own, do it with us. Just don't do nothing. Just don't take option one. Option one is not good, right? So it's either you build it yourself or you let somebody else do it for you. But if you've got, let's just say you do 150 customers a month. Seems like kind of an average with some plumbers. Obviously some of you do a whole lot more, some of you do less, but let's just use 150 as an average. In our system, the way that we've built our system, if you were to give us 150 customers per month, let me show you what happens. So at about the fourth month, and given we've got all the email addresses for everybody, after only 4 months, you've got almost 2,000 communications going out to your customers. I mean, if that's all this program did, it would completely be worth it, right? Because look at all this communication that's happening to your customers. And it's all about, hey, I'm just checking in. Hey, thank you for your business. Hey, look at this, the newsletter offer kind of thing. It's just friendly communication just to stay top of mind, just to stay in front of them. But look at what happens here at about month 9. At month 9, you're over 800 touches per week. Automatically. Boom, automatically, right? So then at the end of the year, you've got in queue, you've had over 30,000 touches to your customers. Pretty exciting. Now, the question is, if you had this much happening, do you think you would get more repeat business and or referrals? Of course you would. Now, unless, though, here's the caveat, though. Unless you didn't satisfy number 1 and number 2 on my blueprint. Number 1 is being committed to creating customers for life. If you're not committed to customers for life, it's a work for you if you provide a good experience. But if you could do both, if you could be committed and you provide a great customer experience, how could this not work for you? How could this not work for you? Of course it would work for you. So let me give you just some results from Schuler. So Josh and I got together at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and we said, hey, look, you know, what you do and what we do really works so well together, because you know how to bring those people in on the front end and create opportunities for the plumbers. We really know what to do once we get those customers. So why don't we work together to provide these services to plumbers, so we can give them a complete solution. And so we started to work with a few of Josh's clients just to test it out and just to see kind of what would happen. And so we showed you Greg's stuff, and Greg is great, such a nice guy. I don't know if he's on this call today, this webinar or not, but so what we did with him was we put tracking phone numbers into everything that we do for him. And we started working with him at the end of January, and I pulled this report off of his tracking phone numbers, and on the direct mail that we've done, he's received 98 calls just from February until just a few days ago. I pulled this information a few days ago. I mean, just that alone makes this whole thing, just makes the whole thing worth it. 98 phone calls. Now, here's what blew my mind. Even me that's been doing this for so long, we put a different phone number into the emails. On the emails, he's got 26 phone calls. That, like I said, I mean, that literally blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. So if you combine the two, it's like 100 and, I don't know, it's a lot, 125 calls in a few months. February, March, April, May, part of June, right? But that's not even the best part. Not even the best part. Here's the best part. Remember those little cards that go into the thank you card, the bounce back card? As of the other day, 82 cards were redeemed. That's an average of 20 a month. I almost fell out of my chair when he told me this. Just in a few months, 82 cards redeemed. So it's exciting, you know. The point here is that this stuff works. Now, again, I mean, you have two options, really. The third option is do nothing, and I don't think any of you want to do nothing. It's either go and build this out yourself. I showed you exactly how to do it. I showed you every part and piece of how to do it, or let somebody do it for you. So let me take just a couple minutes here, and we'll end and we'll answer any questions. But let me just introduce you real quickly to our program and how we do it. And if you're interested, I've got a phone number there. You can give us a call and schedule some time to talk with me or talk with Addie, and we'll be thrilled to show you our system. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is it comes with a better than risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason within the first 60 days, you don't like the program, you don't like us, whatever, we'll give you all of your money back. And the reason I say it's better than risk-free is even if we've sent out a bunch of stuff for you, doesn't matter, we'll still give you every penny of your money back. So here's what we do for our clients. We completely manage all of these programs for you. Right? So essentially what we're giving you is we're giving you a customer appreciation manager, a relationship marketing manager, an email marketing manager. We are giving you all of these people. They are essentially implementing the program for you. We are doing that here. We fulfill on your first X number of customers. So I think Greg does about 150 people with us a month. So we have other clients that are 100, 200. You know, it really depends on how many you do. But those first X group of people are taken care of. We send them out the cards. We send them out the emails. We send them out the follow-up mailers. Everything, all the direct mail is automated, so they get the thank you. You get the thank you again. The 2 newsletter mailers. You get the email marketing. You get the monthly email newsletter, and you get the referral rewards program. Now, I don't know what the value of all of this is on a monthly basis, but even if you could do all of this just with a part-time employee, right, that you paid $10 an hour or two, you're talking over $1,000 a month. If just to set this all up and manage it, that doesn't include the mail, the copywriters, the designers, the email marketing platform, and you get my point. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces here. And then, so we've got a monthly fee that we charge for that. And it's really based on the average number of customers that you work with. And because you are coming through Plumber SEO, basically Josh is negotiated for you. Now, look, in full transparency, I would normally give some money to somebody I partner with and I work with, but Josh said, no, give it to our friends. And so that's what we're doing. We're basically taking $200 a month off of whatever the plan is that you choose. And we have plans that start from 100 to 150, 200, 250, 300. It's up to you. Obviously, each customer, it gets a little bit less per customer. The more that you do, the bigger your company is. But this includes everything that I've shown you. And if you you just have to figure out kind of where you're comfortable, how many on average that you do per month. There's also a one-time startup fee. And so if you want to get started with this, instead of charging you, again, to recreate all of this stuff for you, we've already done it. So all I have to do is charge you to customize it. Ordinarily, we charge $1,795 to do that, one time to get everything set up. But again, because this is going through Plumber SEO, you've got a one-time investment of $1,295, which is a $500 discount. Again, we partnered with Plumber SEO, and you can thank them for negotiating these rates for you. You can go to this website right down here, and you will see a page that looks like this. You just choose the program that's right for you. It's plumberprofitstraining.com/start. If you're ready to move forward, you'll see a screen that looks like this. The only thing that you'll be asked to pay today is the setup fee, the one-time setup fee. So just go to plumberprofitstraining.com/start, and we are including some bonuses for you. So obviously the first discounts we're giving you are $500 on the setup and $200 per month, which is, just your first year alone. That's almost $3,000 in savings. And then we will also set up for you the referral rewards brochure, which is usually an additional charge, and the referral appreciation program. Both of those together have a $275 value. We give you that. We give you the training, also the referral training, the relationship marketing training, how to get more of your business from repeat and referral. So that's it. If you've got any questions about our programs, would like to talk to one of us directly, I'll leave the information up on the screen while we answer any questions. But you can call and talk to either me or Addie, who is my wife, but also she's my business partner. She's really kind of the one to talk to that you'll probably talk to. She knows this upside down, inside and out. All of the stuff that I showed you that we do now for our clients is stuff that she implemented and learned when we had the handyman business. She used to take gifts to our clients. We used to do all the thank you notes. We didn't do a great job with email because we're talking 10 years ago. Email was not quite what it is today. So we did a lot of direct mail. We had a monthly newsletter, physical printed newsletter that went out, and she did all of that stuff. And she works now with our clients and helping them really dial this in and really get good at getting more of their business from repeat and referral. So it's really more than just about, hey, we're going to do this service for you, but we're also going to be there to support you and guide you and train you and really give you any support that you need to grow your business and be more profitable. So, Josh,
that was awesome, Brian.
It looks like there's. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was great stuff, and I'm real excited, guys, because the clients of ours and prospects that we deal with that have implemented this are seeing great return on investment. And if you're running service calls and you're not proactively following up with your prospects, using direct mail, using email, this is a turnkey, low-cost option for really making sure this gets done and it gets done well every single time. So I think it's just an amazing opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, just any one little piece of this makes the whole thing worth it. I mean, that's one of the things I love about plumbers is we get such great results. You know, with a roofer, you know, we get a few referrals every month, and we're thrilled, right? Because it's $20,000 job. But with plumbers, man, it's always boom, boom, boom. We got so many of those cards back, and so many phone calls and emails and activity. It's really exciting.
And there's some questions here, Brian, if you're okay to kind of address a couple of the questions that have come up.
Sure.
So Kimberly is asking, Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry it took a little while to get back to you on this question, but she was on the slide where you were showing the postcards, and she wants to know, do the postcards and articles change over time? So in other words, is the month 2 postcard, is it always the same?
Yeah, no, it will change kind of year to year. It'll change. And just so that everybody knows, everybody's postcards are a little bit different, especially when it comes to the offers. Because my big question to you is, what are your highest value products? What are the things that we really want to promote on the postcard? And so everybody's a little bit different. So depending on what the different services are, the card also changes based on each individual company's services.
Okay, good. Kimberly, if that doesn't answer the question, please feel free to post a follow-up. Shay's asking, would it include DIY projects? Would including DIY projects be beneficial or potentially damaging in this area? So I think she's talking about the emails where you were saying don't just send information, don't just send plumbing tips. She's wondering if DIY stuff would be useful.
I guess they could, but simple stuff. You know, simple stuff. DIY, DIY goes both ways. You know, it's like, okay, I could tell you how to do it and show you how ugly and complicated it is, and then you got to call me. Or it's, will somebody actually go and do it? And I think you can't really lose either way, because if they're going to go and do it anyway, they're probably going to go and do it anyway. At least now they've got a good impression of you, and maybe they'll use you for the next thing. So no, I don't think it'll hurt you.
Awesome. So another question here is for the referral rewards program. It looked like the company ran it, but is it actually, Brian, is it actually your company that runs the program, the referral rewards program?
Yeah, that whole program is automated. It's our property, but we customize it for you. It's just like everything else. It's all automated. It's done for you. There's a quarterly contest that we run. So this quarter, we're giving away an Apple Watch. Last quarter, I think it was, I forgot. I think it's an iPad. It was an iPad. Josh, are you still there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I heard something weird. Yeah, so, we control it, but it's like everything else. It's just automated. You don't even have to think about it. We'll let you know it's happening, but it's completely automated.
Awesome. So the answer, I mean, I guess his company will handle it for you. It's a referral rewards program that's structured. The referee will get rewarded, but you don't have to worry about it. His team will run with the whole thing. Yeah,
as far as the reward goes, if that's specifically what she was asking, we can help them execute on the reward, but the only way that we would be able to do that is if we know exactly who made a referral and if they met the criteria for getting the reward. But as far as everything else goes, that's all automated. So every single communication that we send out mentions the referral rewards program. One way or another, there's a link that goes back to the website. They could put it on their website, whatever they want to do. We give them a whole bunch of tools that they can use.
Got it. Angel says, this is an amazing system. I agree. Thank you, Angel, and thank you for participating. Another question that's in here from Kimberly is, what happens after 12 months? Do they keep going? Are there new emails,
right.
new emails, letters, etc., or does it just repeat year after year?
So that's a great question. So here's what happens. So after the year, as far as the mail side of it goes, we will come to you and say, hey, these people have gone through the direct mail program, do you want to put them in for another year? And if we put them in for another year, then they'll get another year of the postcards, 2, 3, 4, whatever we set up. The basic program now is 2 a year. But as long as they are a client of ours, as long as they're a member of our system, their clients will continue to receive email marketing, the referral rewards program. All of that is included, and it just keeps going.
Awesome. And a follow-up question on this is, so is the pricing based on the average customers that are served per month, not on how many you guys are sending information to as it's accumulated, as they accumulate customers?
So that's a good question, because it sometimes is a little bit confusing. So here's the way to look at it. What we want to do is come up with kind of a baseline of how many customers are we going to, we call it activate into the system. So an activation should be, whether it's a service or it's a job. So if it's a new customer that's coming into the system, how many of those unique do you get on average per month? So let's say that somebody gets 120 of those service jobs of customers. Then I would recommend they go in the 100 program, right? They go a little bit lower, not higher, because we don't want to be ahead. We want to, we'd rather they be ahead. Does that make sense, Josh, how that works?
Yeah, I think that, so you're prepaying, and it makes sense to me. Kimberly, I hope, does that make sense to you? Please post a follow-up there, because these are great questions.
Yeah,
I think it helps for everybody.
Yeah, or just call me, and I can walk her through specifics of, like who to put through. Some people, they put criteria in. So they might say, well, anybody that does X amount of dollars. I don't necessarily believe in that, but somebody might say, well, anybody that does over X amount of dollars. Okay, well then how many of those on average do you do per month? And so that's where we set the baseline. And if they go over, that's fine. There's just a small fee for each person that goes over. Now, if they happen to go under, so let's say they're on the 100 and they only send in 90 people, where those 10 don't get lost, they just move to the next month.
Yeah, I think that answers the question. And if you're curious, you want to get more details, definitely call Brian or Addie. That way they can walk you through it in your specific situation.
Yeah, we'll be happy to do that.
So Walter's got a question here based on sending emails, and he's asking, what are the 3 most successful ways to obtain email addresses? And obviously I've got a lot of insights and ideas on that, but I'll let you go first, Brian.
Well, yeah, you know how to do that very, very effectively. Well, there's a lot of opportunity. The first opportunity is when somebody calls in. They call in, you ask them. If they don't give it to you there, and you got to give them a reason. Well, why do you want the email address? Well, because we're going to send you a confirmation email, or we're going to send you some information about the next steps, right? That's step one. If they don't do it there, then you could do it if you call up and do a confirmation call, let's say, before you send somebody out. That's another opportunity to ask. Third opportunity is when your technician is writing up the order, the service order. They could do it there. They could ask for it there. In fact, by that point, if they don't return with an email address, then they didn't ask. Because at that point, you've got a very high likelihood that you will get an email address. And then he could ask, if he doesn't get it at the beginning of the service call, he could ask for it at the end of the service call. And if they don't get it at the end of the service call, then when your office calls back and does a happy call, you can ask again. I mean, there's a whole number of opportunities to ask people for their email address.
Yeah, I think you nailed all of the best practices. The one thing we've seen really play out time and time again is most companies are waiting until that third touch. So they're waiting until the service call is over and the technician saying, "Hey, can I have your email address so we can send you a follow-up?" At which point they've already paid. They're like, "Man, don't really want to get any communication from you. So the best time to ask really is when they're calling into your office, calling to schedule an appointment, at which point you would say, can I get your name, can I get your phone number, can I get your address, and can I get your email? And they're already giving you the information. It's just make it part of your standard intake process before dispatching. We find that when the question's asked there, the acceptance of giving the email is so much higher at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's a good question. So Steve's got a question. He goes, does this include all of the postage and printing?
Yes, absolutely. It includes everything.
Yeah, and that's why to me this is kind of a no-brainer. If you think about the amount of time and energy you need to dedicate to printing this stuff up, stuffing it, putting in the mail, incurring the printing costs, incurring the postage costs, figuring out what you're going to write, there's a lot of moving parts. And it's going to wind up costing you about the same anyways. But what I find is really the problem with most plumbing and HVAC companies that we talk about this with is they get it. They know that it's important. They have no question it's going to drive ROI. But somewhere in the back of their head, they say, man, I could do this for less if I did it myself. And that's the pitfall because you never do it. You know that it's going to drive ROI. You think you might be able to save a couple dollars, and you never do it. So you never get the benefits of it. This is including all of it done for you, including the printing and the postage, and it's going to get done consistently and well without anybody in your team being accountable that's going to drop the ball. So that's why I think this is so critical that don't stop trying to think you're going to do it yourself and just let Brian's team handle it for you.
Yeah, because we have a secret team of stamp-licking elves. So none of our clients have to lick stamps.
Yep. Well, I think this was great stuff. I really appreciate those of you that joined us today and have stuck with us all the way through to the end. Some great questions, specifically Kimberly, Steve, Walter, Angel. Thank you guys so much for interacting and asking questions. We will be sending the replay video along with some additional details after the call. Definitely reach out to Brian and Addie. Their phone number is right here on the screen. Give them a call. Talk about your specific situation, and definitely give this a try. We're seeing it consistently drive solid returns on investment. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to add, Brian, before we close the webinar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to work with plumbers. I mean, it's such a dynamic business. It's moving so fast, and I love what you guys are doing, and I really appreciate you opening this up and making this training available. This stuff works, man. The money is in the relationship. It's not in the transaction. One-time money is not good. Long-time money is much, much better. So that's it. That's my last closing thought.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, man. Great information. I really believe that you guys got value from this, whether you want to call Brian or not, which you absolutely should. You've got a clearer idea of the value of repeat and referral business, a strategy that you could implement on your own if you wanted to, and I think most valuable, you've got a resource now that you can know confidently you're going to send in your list of customers that have just been served, and they're all going to get professional, thorough follow-through, which is going to drive more repeat and referral business and more revenues and profitability for your company. So thanks for joining us. Call Brian, and we'll talk to you again on an upcoming webinar.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, everybody.